Today is October 19th, 2023, and I'm calling this meeting to order at 4 o'clock p.m. So, the ZBA is a fact-finding body, and to grant variances, it must determine the existence of special conditions other than solely financial, which create an undue hardship for the applicant. Positive action requires an affirmative vote by at least 4 of the 5 members. The ZBA's decisions are finals, and recourse from ZBA decision is to a court of law. For items scheduled for a public hearing, residents will have the opportunity to comment on agenda items in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Members of the board shall not discuss, deliberate, or make any decisions on topics not posted as an agenda item. Speakers should state their name and full address for the record and address all remarks to the board. The board asks that public remarks be limited to no more than 3 minutes. And if the board will stand and do the pledge. Okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag? Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Okay, and in your binder, we have the minutes from our last meeting, which was held on September 21st. If the board will please take a moment to review these. And when ready, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections or discussion? None? Okay, if none, all those in favor for approval, aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes are approved. Moving on to our regular agenda today for public hearing, we're here to consider a request for a variance to the zoning ordinance, section 118-427A, for a reduction in the minimum lot width required for R1 single family for lot 10S1, City Block 5555, located on the north side of Joyce Avenue, approximately 150 feet from Perry Drive. This request has been submitted by Philmon Gonzalez, case file ZBA 2023-10.
Madam Chair, board members, Juan Paulette, planning technician. So this is approximately a quarter-acre lot and is located just west of the corner of Perry and Joyce Street. The property has approximately 60 feet of street frontage along Joyce Street, and the property is relatively flat and is not located in the FEMA floodplain. This undeveloped subject property is zoned R1 single family and is surrounded by single family residents on all sides. Section 118-427A, minimum lot dimensions, is the section of the ordinance that the applicant is seeking the variance from, and its purpose is to create orderly, predictable, efficient development, safeguard enhanced property values, protect public and private investments and from overcrowding of property, and to allow for adequate spacing between buildings and emergency access. The variance being requested is for a lot width. The existing track is 60 feet wide, and the minimum width requirement for R1 is 75 feet, so the specific variance being requested is for 15 feet. This is a copy of the survey that the property owner has done in May of this year. This is the proposed site plan. The applicant plans to build a 2,000 square foot single family home on the property. The new home will face and take direct access from Joyce Avenue. The new home will meet the minimum building setback requirements for the R1 zoning district, which are 25 feet in the front, 20 feet in the rear, and 6 feet on either side. Here's a rendering of the proposed house. And this is a picture of the property looking at it from Joyce Avenue, directly on. You can see that the owner has already started, working on doing the groundwork. And I'll explain why later. And here's some pictures of the adjacent residential houses, the one to the east and also the one to the west. So staff sent out 7 notices to property owners with a 200-foot notification area. We have received 2 written responses from adjacent property owners with concerns that because Joyce Avenue is so narrow, if vehicles park on the road in front of the subject property, it would block access to their homes. I spoke with the city engineer about this possible issue, and he said that if it becomes a problem, staff would support bringing the placement of no parking signs along Joyce Street to City Council for approval. So staff finds that this request does meet the conditions for approval. Staff believes that because the house will meet the R1 single-family building setbacks and density, the request would not adversely impact the adjacent properties and the overall density of the area. Before I conclude, I would like to give the board a little background about the property. About a year ago, the owner of the property reached out to staff and was wondering what they could develop on this property. And staff told the applicant that although the lot is not wide enough for R1 zoning, that they could build a single-family home on the lot at the time, on the lot, because at the time we were operating under the interpretation that if the lot was configured prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinance, that it was considered grandfathered. And so as long as the building setbacks and density were met, it was a developable lot. But because of the ZBA interpretation that was done on Logansport, it's now going to have to require a variance. And so I just want to let you know that initially we had told the applicant that they could build on it. Okay. And so that concludes staff's presentation, and I can answer any questions from the board.
Whenever we're looking at the legal description of these lots, and I'm kind of looking at the zoning map, aerial map, and then kind of your pictures at the same time. Was this originally lot 10, block 5-5, and then was later split into 2 separate lots, and one half is part of the side yard of the neighboring property, and then this was a backyard to the Perry Drive facing property?
This property was configured in this configuration prior to the zoning ordinance. This wasn't done recently. This property belonged to the owner of property to the east on the corner of Perry and Joyce. And so she's just sold it to the owner now, and they're going to build a house on it. But it was always separated like that.
That one lot was always separated.
So, I'm like Olivia, so it was always lot 10S1 and 10S?
Yes.
Because it looks, I'm like her, I just, who owns I was trying to look up the appraisal district, who owns the lot,
Behind it?
well, behind it, but also just to the west of it, I guess it would be, well, actually south.
I think the people on 814 own that lot.
Yeah, they own that. The lot adjacent to the west.
Oh, okay. They own the one that would then, if they had it, we wouldn't even be here, because it would be wide enough then.
Right.
Okay.
Who owns lot 10M? I mean, I guess that's not relevant. It's not part of this lot. Is
The
my-
one behind
the-
it?
The land, it looks like it's landlocked. Lot 10M, block 55 with no address.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not part of this, okay.
The way it was platted, even some, if you move to the house at 821, that frontage is awfully small too. And as is the frontage over there on Lee Lane. I don't think those are 75 feet, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, there's probably a few that aren't quite R1.
Right.
Again, they all predated the ordinance too.
Sure.
so.
Sure. On the survey, is that their fence from the neighboring property going across the back property line? Chain link fence, was that fence still in existence in the,
Yes.
it is?
Let me go back to that picture. The fence in the back?
Yes. That's the neighbor's fence coming back there? Okay, from before she sold it.
They've said yes.
Gotcha, okay. Just trying to wrap my head around the survey and the lot and the images.
How wide is the house gonna be?
The house, let's see.
40 feet. 40 feet, 42 feet.
Yeah, 40 foot on the survey.
40.
Yeah, and there's gonna be 8 feet on each side of the house from the property line.
Okay.
Oh, these are the emails, okay. The people that emailed, did they only emailed in? They didn't call?
They came in initially and then they sent emails.
Okay. So the no parking signs. Okay, and I guess my last question for you is, the city's recommendation is to approve, and in that recommendation, you're saying that the city will make part of that if there is a complaint, to put up no parking signs? That's part of your,
If there is complaints, then we'll take it forward to city council and staff will approve it. I mean, we'll recommend approval of it.
okay,
But it has to be ultimately approved by city council because it's a finable offense.
got you. Okay. That's my last question. Do any board members have questions for Juan or the city at this time? No? Okay, thank you, Juan. We're happy to hear from the applicant. So-
My English is not perfect, okay?
That's okay. You'll say your first
That is
name.
the reason that Harry is here with me.
Sure.
My secretary and my translate sometimes.
Okay,
Okay.
so your first name, your last name, and your address, please.
Okay, Filemon Gonzalez. My address now is 12931 State Highway 7 West.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason that we are here is to work with you together and we need, what can I do or that you approve this project for us?
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? About the home or the lot or?
We're still doing the same, I mean, the setback, they're still requiring this, the 6 foot is what's required, whether the lot was legal or not.
Correct.
So by requiring that, we're just, the footprint of the house is gonna be narrower.
Tell them about the square footage.
The density or?
Yeah, the square footage of the lot is also exceeds our 1 square footage.
Right, I saw
It's
that.
just longer and skinnier.
Because our minimum is this 8250,
Correct,
and it's 10320.
correct.
I don't guess I have, I mean,
No questions? Okay. Did you have any questions, Marion? Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Thank you very much.
And I looked on there, Olivia, the man that owns this one right here does own this lot here.
Okay.
He owns that.
Oh, he does,
And
okay.
then Johnson does own this and this, and then Robert Sanders something owns, anyway, he's the one that owns these two right here. And then Johnson owns these two. They own this, and I didn't look to see who owned that.
That makes sense. Very good. Okay. And now we will open the floor for public comment. No one's calling in, no one's here, Zoom, nothing? Okay, we just have the two emails. Very well, public comment is closed. Does the board have any follow-up questions for the city staff, anyone on city staff?
I don't guess so.
Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the 60-foot variance.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the 60-foot variance and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Very well, variance is approved. Okay, it is 4:17 PM on October 19th, and we are adjourned.